true terror is the soft, cold caress of the raven's wing.
Ooh. Your hands are so cold.
A woman whose desires transcend reality. The mysterious powers of black magic. These you will explore.
Now, what is it you need? You got some dried blood or from bat in the house?
The raven will take you careening through the darkest of dangers. Into the ominous mystery of a master magician's evil castle.
Afraid, my dear? I offer you a choice. The secret of your hand manipulations, or this against this.
Well, don't just stand there. Do something.
This is no answer.
Very well, then. Adieu to the death.
Good evening, goblins and ghouls, and welcome to the Wednesday night Scream Stream mini-sodes. I'm your host, Spakenstein, joined as always by my very good friend, Mr. Evan Sink. How we doing tonight, Evan?
Good evening. Good evening. Doing great.
Yeah, and as you can see here, I'm just adjusting my camera because I was telling Evan I came running in hot. So now you're gonna see me primping my hair and fixing the angle just right. And please don't be disturbed by my erratic movements and all my fussy moving around. But I didn't check the shot.
Don't be alarmed.
Don't be alarmed. I'm just getting everything fixed. So it's fixed. So thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. This is our first episode in October. So happy October, everybody.
We've weathered the storm. We're still alive.
Seriously weathered the storm. I hate that we could not go live last Friday. We had a power outage here. The remnants of Hurricane Ian came right in our direction, and we lost power. It could have been way worse, but we lost power. Unfortunately, could not show Fog Island last Friday. I was bummed out. Evan knows I was very bummed out.
Yeah, we all were.
We're bummed out. We cheered ourselves up the next day by going to see a really great new horror movie that we enjoyed, which we're not plugging, but I feel like I'm going to talk about it at some point, so I might as well just go ahead and say it now. We saw Barbarian this past weekend, and it was
great movie,
amazing. I keep thinking about it.
It really is sitting with me. I really did like that.
It stays with you, and it's it's emotional
It's a really good movie.
in a good way. It's good and it's emotional, and I just I really enjoyed it. I wouldn't say that I'm picky about what horror movies I like, but obviously, as loyal viewers of the show will know, I have a taste, a particular taste when it comes to these horror movies. So any new thing that can kind of affect me emotionally in any way that's like, besides just I enjoyed it while I saw it, like a horror movie that can stay with me well after I saw it is worth its weight in gold. And so it was good. So I just felt like I had to mention it. I just,
Yeah, it's not every day you see a horror movie that can move you to tears.
no, and I did. I teared up at the very end of the movie, which should incentivize everybody to go seek it out if it's still showing at a theater near you. I don't know. I think they actually, a lot of times when these studios do wide releases, as the weeks go by, the amount of theaters that they book it in obviously goes down. In this case, it's going up, and this
movie's out of control.
It really is. I mean, they weren't expecting it to be as big of a hit as it is, and so
it's getting too powerful.
All that to say, if you haven't seen Barbarian, go see Barbarian. And ring in October. It's October this whole month. You should be watching a horror movie every night. And luckily, we're serving up horror for you guys on a dish, which is covered by a veil, because this show that we have been watching this season for our minisodes is The Veil. So through the rest of October, we're going to be bringing episodes of this Boris Karloff anthology series that was never aired. And, we've had fun with it so far, I think, all things considered, because we've watched some questionable things in our 3 seasons of minisodes so far that, between One Step Beyond and Phantom Creeps, that some stuff was really good and some stuff was really boring. We make the most of it here on the show. That's why the show exists, to, make this boring stuff a little more interesting, hopefully. But, that's kind of the gamble that we take here. We're spinning the chamber, and we don't know if we're going to get something exciting or something boring. But I think The Veil, all things considered, has been fairly exciting.
Yeah, I'm excited for tonight. The title of tonight's episode is intriguing.
The return of... Okay, you say it. I don't have it in front of me, and I'm going to say the wrong thing.
The return of Madame Vernoy.
Vernoy. I was about to say the wrong thing. So thank you. Yes. The return of Madame Vernoy. So, it's an interesting title. There's some mystery, I guess, to that, right? It's already setting up like an arrival, which, I mean, again, that's
coming back. Where did she go?
It's just an interesting thing in, like, that's what drama is all about. Like any kind of play or movie or television show, it's all about creating some kind of anticipation. And I think if you can do that just by your title alone, you're already going to hook an audience. So I think they've done that here with an interest. I mean, come on. I mean, Waiting for Godot, right? It was what are you going to do? The whole time you're waiting. And guess what? He never shows up. So hopefully,
spoilers now.
So hopefully, well, yeah. Sorry if you haven't read or seen Waiting for Godot. He doesn't show up. They wait for nothing, but that's the point. Nothing.
Hey, did you guys hear? I heard Gal Gadot is coming.
Yep, here she is. She's flying over. She actually acquired Wonder Woman powers. She wears the costume all the time now. Here she comes. I mean, so I think, at least hopefully she'll make an appearance. We'll see. Maybe it's one of these existential things and she just never shows up. It's all about the anticipation. They're gonna have to pay it off at some point. So we'll see. We'll see what they do. We'll see if they get creative.
Well, maybe she did arrive, but she locked herself in the invisible jet.
Could be. Couldn't find the keys. Misplaced the invisible keys in the invisible jet. And so at that point, you're just kind of stuck. And, hopefully the autopilot on that. I mean, hopefully the autopilot is good so you can look for the keys. But I'd be pulling my hair out at that point. So good luck to Wonder Woman. Gal Gadot. But yes, no. So we're waiting for Madame Vernoy tonight. So hopefully she makes an appearance. We'll see. We certainly won't be waiting for Boris Karloff. I know we'll see him. There's one of these episodes that he is not in, but every other one he makes an appearance. So
okay, we don't have that many left. We haven't seen it already, have we?
No, wait. So, no, I think it'll be our very last episode of The Veil will be the one that he is not in. But he's been in every other episode. So we will see what interesting role he is playing tonight. He's had a colorful assortment of parts so far. Incompetent policeman and mean kindly doctor, mean ship captain, lawyer, psychiatrist, a
lot of authority figures.
Yeah, definitely. Well, yeah, he always, I think, besides the dumb policeman and the murderous sea captain, he's a little more of a he is kind of the good egg in the bunch. He's always the kind of like the one that's trying to solve the problem, as opposed to being the evil bad guy that you would normally expect Boris Karloff to be. He's occasionally...
I don't want to be the monster anymore. I want to be the good guy. I'm gonna make a TV show so I can play the
essentially, and it, hey, it worked. And then, when he did his other show, Thriller, I mean, I get the only time that one of the few times he's in an episode, he's all, caked up in bad zombie makeup. So who knows? I mean, it's kind of hard to escape that monster image. He probably gave up by that point, but I think in the 50s, certainly at this time in the 50s, because we've been talking about his career as we watch these episodes as well. And, last week we talked about the late 1950s period of his career where he wasn't doing as many movies. He was doing mostly television. He did The Veil. And then the early 60s, he's still not too many movies, but he also did his other anthology horror series, Thriller, which is a little more, and we saw a preview for Thriller last week, and it's a lot more explicitly horror. So if you enjoy The Veil but you want your horror a little more visceral, go look for Boris Karloff's Thriller. I think you can find it somewhere, who knows, but it's the episodes that I have seen are decent. So but that's where he had stepped away from movies kind of a little bit, did these shows. And it was after Thriller that he did The Raven, which was the trailer that we saw to lead in tonight's episode. That was his first.
Looked great. I haven't seen that one.
And if you haven't, it's on Tubi. So if you haven't seen The Raven, go check it out. It's a lot of fun because the cast on top of Karloff is Vincent Price and Peter Lorre, and the three of them are just a very entertaining mix. They bounce off each other really well because their personalities are, for them all being like boogeymen, their personalities are all very distinct. And so Roger Corman, again, it's a comedy. It's a comedy straight up. So like if you don't, I'm gonna go ahead and tell you, don't go watch The Raven expecting it. There's some eerie scenes and some kind of, atmospheric stuff, but it's mostly a comedy, and they all do comedy really well. And apparently, the story with that movie was that Peter Lorre liked to improvise a lot, and like Vincent Price was like pretty good with like, being able to handle that and do improv, but Karloff was not happy because Karloff was a trained stage actor, and is very much about like sticking to the script. So every time that like Peter Lorre would go off script and start ad-libbing, then Boris Karloff would get frustrated because he wouldn't, it was hard for him to figure out how to play off of it. And that was one thing that Roger Corman said about the making of the movie, was that, he would notice that Boris would get a little frustrated. And that was the only kind of, it wasn't a problem, but it was just kind of, it was certainly noticeable that, Peter Lorre was.
It wasn't a problem, except for that one time it came to a head and they had that wizard fight.
Yes, when they actually proved to be men with magical powers. Those guys wouldn't shock me at all if they were actually imbued with some kind of strange otherworldly powers.
Some kind of movie magic.
Movie magic. That's what it takes. Just a little bit of movie magic. And then these guys all actually have magic powers. No. It is a really fun movie, and it was the first time that Karloff worked with Roger Corman. I guess he worked with Roger Corman we've seen The Terror on our show, but that was, there were a bunch of different directors that had a hand in that, but Corman directed Karloff's scenes. I don't know if there was anything else that they did together like that. There was some other situations where I think Corman had him under contract, but I don't know if he was actually in any Corman movies. So who knows? Weird contrivances, but suffice to say, Karloff is the man, and The Raven is a fun movie, so check it out. And get ready to check out whatever Karloff is about to do here, because I'm sure it's about to be fun. Anything, Evan, before we get into tonight's episode?
I don't know. Why don't we why don't we pull Boris Karloff the veil? And that was a stretch, but
a little bit.
We're gonna go with it.
A little bit of a stretch. We'll take it. That's serviceable. I think it works. All right, hell yeah. Well, then we are gonna start the return of Madam. This title is a fucking mouthful. It's too much.
Just pretend like you're on Wheel of Fortune and enunciate.
Enunciate. All right, the return of Madame Vernoy right now.
Good evening. Tonight, I'm going to tell you another strange and unusual story of the unexplainable, which lies behind the veil.
Gotta say it. You have to say it when he says it.
The mysteries of the East have always been a source of wonder to Western man. Our story tonight takes place in India and is based on a true and authenticated incident. Santha Naidu was born...
By Western man, he means like cowboys.
But the time in which he lived was far
if
from
only. No.
It encompassed a major social upheaval in a world at war. Yet even had these events not taken place, her life could never have been a normal one. Santha Naidu from birth was a child apart. A beautiful young woman died in August of 1927. Her name was Sita Vernoy.
Ooh.
A beautiful baby girl was born, also in August, in the following year, 1928. Her name, Santha Naidu.
Ooh, okay.
Rama, come in.
Forgive me, Madame Naidu, but
This set feels a little familiar.
What? Familiar?
I don't know why, but it feels like
Something to drink.
no,
they've maybe changed the set dressing and are just using the same house from a different episode.
It would not shock me at all.
And she about you. You are one of her oldest friends.
I remember the day your son, Carla, first brought me here. May his soul be at peace.
Santa was just a baby. Since the death of Carla,
Do you think that was stock footage, or did they actually go to
No.
India for this show?
I think that they, that was actually what really bankrupted Hal Roach Studios. They spent all their money going to India.
I've watched Santa grow
for
from
the
a
veil.
child to a young lady. And you know, I would do anything to make her happy. I'm not the wealthiest man in Delhi, but my prospects are good. And Madame Naidu, I would like your permission to marry Santa. Have I said something wrong?
Not good.
Rama, this is a day I have prayed for, yet feared would come.
I do not understand.
Yeah, me neither.
Rama, if I were to say to you, Santa is already married with a son.
You mock me.
Not in this life, in the previous one. Rama, are we not taught to believe it is only the body that dies at death? That the true self is in time reborn?
Of course.
Once, in a very great while, one is born with memory of a previous incarnation. And I'm afraid Santa is such a one. And the love she bore for her husband and son remains as strong as ever.
To remember another life. But how can this happen?
Who is to say?
This is a really elaborate story. I think she
this
could have
is
just
wild.
said, "Yeah, no, sorry."
Why was I not told of this before?
So, I'm just gonna let you know, she comes with a lot of baggage. Before I just want you to know what you're getting yourself into.
Oh, Rama, listen to me, my son. For her 5th birthday, I made her a little cloak, the color of flame. She cried when I put it on her. Why? Because she said because her husband wished her to wear only blue.
A 5-year-old child.
Oh my
I put
gosh.
the cloak away, Rama.
This is wild.
I cried.
Is it just me or is this
Because I
wild?
knew
It really is. This is
Tonight's episode is already
Are you
grabbing me.
saying
I don't remember
this is
this
good
one
stuff.
as well.
even then?
No, not all. It came slowly. She recalled his face, their home, Mutra, where they lived, her son, and yesterday the name of her husband, Vernoy, Armand Vernoy.
And now, what happens now?
I'm prepared.
Jesus
Tomorrow we
Christ.
meet.
What does happen now, bro? You tell me what happens now.
I did not know you were here.
I wish to speak with your mother.
All right.
What is wrong?
Santa, Rama has come to ask for your hand in marriage.
Rama. Have you told him?
Oh, Santa. You cannot really believe all of this, huh?
It is true, Rama. I have a husband and son.
But even if it is true, your husband will be an old man by now. And your son, he could be older than you are.
It will be as you say. I have been away too long.
Nothing but tragedy can come from this son.
Yep, you got that right.
It is the will of our Lord Krishna. And my name is Santa no longer. I am Madame Sita Vernoy.
Well, she's just decided to full on go into it now. When this guy proposes to her, she's like, I'm actually a different person now.
For my journey.
Bye.
Madame Naidu, this will not be a journey for two women alone.
You love her so much.
There you go, bro. You keep putting in the work. You'll get there.
Yeah, it's okay. Her husband is already an old man. By the time they find him, we probably kick the bucket.
Probably. Well, then there's her son to deal with.
Wait here. I'll get the
But
cab.
there's no need. My husband's house is not far.
You know exactly where it is?
Of course. It is the first house beyond the curse on
This guy's like standing there awkwardly behind them, like looking at everything. Is he an extra, or is there a
I would
point
like
to him?
to say things.
Maybe he's the manservant.
I guess.
It all goes well with you now.
Very well. The temple of Dakashish is on the way, in the street of the silversmith. I prayed there every night to the Lord Krishna, that he might send me a son, and he answered me.
Your son. What is his name?
What a question,
It's me.
Rama.
I'm your son.
How
And
else
it's
would
that
I
little
know
guy
you?
behind him.
And to give his name to my child.
Therefore, my dear Professor Goncourt,
There he is.
It's me. I'm your son, Boris Karloff.
Columbia College.
It's me, Colonel Sanders.
Thank you, Professor.
Or Sigmund Freud, maybe?
Yes, my son.
Is that George
Please let me
Hamilton?
know when you expect to arrive in New York.
If you don't know who George Hamilton is,
We are old friends.
go check out the movie Love at First Bite, starring George Hamilton,
good one.
where he does a Boris Karloff or a Bela Lugosi impression the whole time. Can't believe I just did that.
How will we get there?
Bela Lugosi.
Same thing.
Pacific
Same
because
thing.
of the Japanese.
Krishna,
No, that can't be
Yes, my
George
son.
Hamilton.
Professor Goncourt just arrived in Mutra. He wanted you to have this news at once, but now...
Forgive me, Father. And you, Professor. I know you must have much to say to each other. If you'll excuse me,
Thank you, my son.
you will permit me to join you again later. I have so many questions.
Of course. A bientôt.
So he's a professor in this one.
Yeah, what is the matter?
Another
Yeah.
authority figure.
Guess so.
It is not like you to receive good news with such displeasure.
I didn't expect you so soon. I thought it would be another few weeks, a month perhaps.
You worrying about sending him so far away?
I can't do it, Charles. I can't send him anywhere.
Armand, he is not a child.
You don't understand. I cannot send him with you to America because I do not have the money.
Armand.
I made certain investments.
Certain investments.
I put all my money in Bitcoin. It's all gone.
She knew how to manage things, that one. If she had lived, there would be money.
Elon Musk told me it was going to the
She
moon.
was a wise woman.
He said it was a sure
Beautiful
thing.
and
Kim Kardashian said it was a sure thing. She basically did
I'm
though.
ruined.
She basically did though, and now she's being fined by the SEC.
Yeah, over $1 million.
Ah.
Well, I don't
That's
believe
what
the
happens
two
when you
weeks
don't
is
say, this is a fucking risky investment, so just keep that in mind. When you go saying, this is a sure thing, there are consequences when it's not a sure thing.
break his heart.
And mine.
You are certain that this is the house?
And if someone pays you to endorse their product,
Sadly, the walls need whitening.
disclose that, even if it's really obvious.
Yes, please.
I'm
Let
afraid I shall
let
have to
people know.
scold him.
Still, it's a fine house.
It's your
I was very
your
happy
responsibility.
Namaskar, my friends.
What is he doing out there with his giant machete? Did you see that? Didn't he just have a giant machete in his hands?
Yeah, he had something. What was that?
My son, Krishna, my son.
Forgive me, please.
Oh, shit.
I do not mean to be discourteous, but who are you?
I had hoped you might know. But how could you? You were not 2 weeks old when I left you, my son.
Don't call me that, please. This young lady has come all the way from Delhi to speak to Mr. Ahmed Vernoy.
Ooh.
I shall take her to him. But I still must ask you not to call me your son.
I gave you life.
You are younger than me, lady.
you
This is
trying to tell me
freaking me out.
That you're my mother?
Oh, this is definitely George Hamilton. I
Father?
can tell by the mole on his
Father?
face.
It's as plain as the mole on your face.
It is as plain as the mole on George Hamilton's
I have
face.
come home to
He's
you.
still alive. He's one of the few like people from that time
No
that
joke
seems
of
to be
my
doing
making.
well right now.
Yeah,
So,
good grief. How old is he?
he's doing well. He's like he was
His
out to
mother
dinner
died
with
when he
Liza
was born.
Minnelli a couple months ago, and
7
you know
days later,
she's
my
in a
body did
wheelchair.
die.
Unfortunately, he's moving around doing just fine.
7 days.
She's been seen without a wheelchair,
Child,
so who knows? Maybe
I don't
she's
know
doing
this
better
is.
too. But
I don't like it.
old celebrities, they're just like every other
If I
old
might be
person.
permitted to question.
Surely, Professor Goncourt.
You told her my name?
They put their chair on one wheel at a time, just like the rest of us.
Well, no matter. When did your body die?
August 21st,
damn it.
1927. But Brahma permitted me to be born again and to come back now to my husband and my son.
No, I do not believe it.
My son, your father's heart knows that I speak the truth.
I don't know anything of the kind.
He's like, sure, you're my wife.
I returned as soon as Brahma permitted me to remember.
Yeah, sweet.
Come
I'll
on,
go
bro,
along with
just
this.
lean into it.
I remembered your face always. How you crinkled your eyes when you smiled. How your mouth... Oh, my
Uh-oh.
husband. You should not have done it.
Done what?
You should not have shaved off your mustache.
Uh-oh.
How did she know?
Do we want, I mean, I don't have a commercial queued up. Do we want to just keep running through this?
We can just keep going.
All right. I'm at 1401. Are you there?
All right.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Count me down.
Here we go.
Armand, it's so beautiful.
Well, thank you, my dear.
You've changed it so much.
He's like,
I don't like this. This isn't right.
I'm not happy. I'm not happy
Move
about
all
this.
around also. You never let me move one.
This isn't right. In a previous life, I had a daughter, and that's her.
Madame,
There's your twist.
That
was
would be
she
a
born?
twist.
On August 31st,
It's affecting it. Everybody's just remembering their past lives over here.
10 days after Sita died.
Driving everybody crazy.
It can't be.
It is, Armand. I have been reborn.
I loved my wife very much. I would like it to be as you say, but you're a child.
I am Sita.
No, you are not.
My father, please tell her to go.
Krishna, my son.
I am not your son.
I am not your son. He's very
What must
adamant.
I say? What must I do to convince them?
What must I say? What must I do?
Voici.
That's the reverse of how that song goes, but
You used to call me that. Your little bird.
I did.
ooh,
I did.
she gets him with the little pieces of information.
Go now, child. Go with your mother and your friend. There is an hotel on Agra Street. Krishna will guide
No,
you.
no, it is much too expensive. We will go to the inn on the Drovers Road.
The hotel. I will pay.
My dear husband.
Oh my
Extravagant as
God.
always.
Go now with them, son.
Yes, my father.
This is not goodbye, Armand.
No. Au revoir. Until tomorrow.
Au revoir. Aren't they in India?
They are. Is that guy French?
I guess he's French.
I trust
I
you
guess
find
his
these rooms
wife
comfortable.
was
May rest
an
well.
Indian woman.
I'm sure that we shall. Thank you, my son.
Not at all, Miss Naidu. Madame Naidu,
Not,
Mr. McCarthy,
not
good
doing
day.
it.
Good
Not
day,
gonna
Mr.
call you
Vernoy.
mom. Not happening.
This is it's an interesting framing with the ceiling fan.
Yeah, it's,
on the
and
right
now,
there.
now you got the light. That's
He thinks
this.
you're
I like
trying to
this.
play some kind of
Yeah.
You did not believe me at first. Now you
That
have
was
opened your
why
heart
they
to the
framed
truth.
it so weird. So this would make sense. This lighting.
And Armand accepts me. Krishna will also.
Mr. Vernoy is of another faith, my
And
friend.
there, in the corner,
He may
or
not
the
be
side.
willing to believe.
He will. I know this.
It just looks like someone has a propeller head right off of
yeah.
right off screen.
Woman has no son
Inspector
to be lied
Gadget
to.
over here.
Yes, with your permission.
Ooh, I like the way it was framed there too.
Yeah.
It's doing a lot of fan work there. Good stuff.
She has Sita's voice. The same music. The same rise and fall.
Oh, you just imagine that.
Mon petit oiseau.
You're
I
just
did not
you're
imagine
just
that.
trying to get
Common
into
Indiana.
some kind of relationship with this woman.
The girl speaks no French.
Well, she could have heard
You
the phrase
sleaze
somewhere.
bag.
I tell you, there must be a rational explanation.
How can you explain a girl her age,
Yep.
knowing these intimate details?
Like your moustache?
Yes, my moustache. And the furniture in all the rooms. And the
It's
name
not
of
a
servant
mustache.
Sita
It's a
20 years ago.
mustache.
Armand,
We have to bring that
unless
pronunciation
you are
back.
prepared to believe in reincarnation,
That will help
I'm
bring
then we must
the
find an
reputation back
explanation
as
elsewhere.
well, hopefully.
If there is.
Yeah,
But-
that'll bring mustaches back.
Mustaches get a
And if we
bad
don't-
rap
but
these
we will.
days.
Charles, listen.
Because people are like,
If we
mustache.
can't find an explanation.
Not
and the
mustache.
girl
That
still
sounds bad.
persists in her belief that she
Mustache.
is Sita reborn. What am I to do?
It's ridiculous.
Armand, you're not. You cannot be thinking of accepting this girl as your wife.
I'm thinking about it.
I don't know. My son.
Have you decided what you'll do, what you'll say to this girl from Delhi?
Well, Professor Gonko and I have been talking about it.
But you have not decided.
No.
I have decided.
I made up my mind.
I am
Shame
sorry,
fucking
my
mom.
father. I cannot accept as a mother a girl who's no older than I am.
Yeah, it'd be pretty fucking
If you
weird.
take her into this house, I cannot stay. Not even for the 2 weeks remaining.
2 weeks?
Until I leave for America.
Krishna,
That is when we're going, you said.
that is what was planned, but your father feels perhaps that...
I'm going to America, Dad. You can't stop me.
My son, I do not believe that you will be able to leave Mutra for a while.
Because of this foolish girl. You wish me to stay to please her.
Oh, no. It's something that happened before she came, months ago. I didn't know how to tell you.
There's not enough.
I'm broke, son.
I
Yeah, pretty
invested
much.
in my
I
savings
ain't got no
unwisely.
cash. No money in the bank.
The war has ruined me.
There's a lot of like history in the country of India that we're not privy to that would be helpful right now.
It's all right, my father. I wondered how you would arrange it. I knew things were not well with us.
When the war is over, you will see, we'll make up for lost time.
Of course, my father. But now, what will you do with this girl?
I'll
send her away.
Duh.
I thought I would be welcomed with gladness and joy.
You are my child.
Obviously, this is not how I thought this was gonna go.
I am.
Eyes like all the way in the back of her head.
Even if I could bring myself to believe, there is Krishna. He never could believe.
In time, perhaps.
No, I've hurt him enough.
You, my husband?
Only last night, we had to tell him, Professor Gonku and I, Krishna was to go to America with him.
Oh, you're broke? Oh, I'm not. I'm not mad at Vernoy. I'm sorry. I'm good. I'll be out of your hair.
I don't have enough money.
That is why Brahma has sent me. I knew that I was needed.
I don't understand.
So that together we might help our son.
How?
You have forgotten your gifts to your bride? The jewels a Maharani would have been proud to wear?
Ooh.
Those are Sita's words. She wept when I gave them to her.
For joy, Armand. To have such riches against an evil day.
But they are gone. As if they never had been. When Sita left me...
The jewels remained, my husband.
Ooh. Oh, some hidden jewel action. She is stashing away. What is it? What are they? Isn't there a term to talk about stashing away money to say the kitty? What is that? You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know one person who says that.
I love that. I think that's great. I can't remember the way that you use it though, but I wanted to use that here to say that's what she's doing. This is the kitty, but I can't think of proper phrasing. But the kitty, yes.
No one but Sita could know where the jewels were. Only Sita could know what you know of me.
But you still do not believe.
My house is yours.
I'm rich again.
As long as you wish.
Had it been Brahma's will, he would have opened your heart to me.
If it was meant to be, you would have just accepted me. Obviously, you don't give a shit, so I'm out. You obviously weren't my one true love, so maybe I'll find it in the next life.
I just saw the girl leaving with her friend.
Yes, she's on her way back to Delhi.
And you're going to America, my son, with Professor Karloff.
Yeah,
wow.
it's okay. We'll get together the next time around.
You said you have no money.
I was wrong.
Son, you're going to America.
It's like you're going to college.
We got the jewels. You're going to America. No, that's the end.
That's it.
Is true.
She didn't. We don't know if she married the guy.
Beyond question that this child was his wife, but he was a wise man. Asantha was wise beyond her years, and their decision to part this time forever undoubtedly avoided future unhappiness for all concerned.
Yeah, the other guy was
As yet,
barely a character.
no understanding.
Boris
of how
Karloff's
incidents of
character?
this kind occur.
The first guy, who was trying to marry.
They made him out like he was the big guy in the beginning, and then nothing.
Please join me again for another journey into the world of the
I was enveloped in his
unexplainable.
story, but it was
lies
just to set up
behind
her
the
story, and then they were gone. Like, God damn you, Boris Karloff. Herbert L. Strock. We've seen a couple episodes that he's already done, and it seems like he got more inventive in this episode. But, I mean, yeah, I would agree with you. It's a little frustrating when they can't, you know, you think, oh, this is the main character, this is the guy I'm following, and then all of a sudden, it's like, nope, they're gone now. You're not gonna get a resolution of their storyline. I mean,
yeah, I don't know how I feel about this one.
Well, I mean, I think, okay, so obviously we're gonna break this down because this is a fair amount, I think, to break down. Because I feel a little conflicted about how I feel about this episode. It's, I mean, well, I'll let you. What do you think? How did you feel about it, Evan?
I don't know. I don't know if I would have liked it more if she had married the guy.
I mean, I just would have liked more of a resolution to that storyline. You know, when you started out as the big thing, you're like, okay, by the end of the story, I'll get a resolution to this. Like, will she come out of this spell? Will she agree to marry him? Will he prove himself to her? You know, like, those are all logical questions that you ask based off the setup. But then,
yeah, and she clearly knew some that she shouldn't have known.
Right, exactly. But instead, they just ignore all of the big questions and just kind of keep going down a different trail. So there's a little bit of misdirection, I think you could say, with this episode. But I love the beginning. Like, I think the beginning of the episode is really thrilling. And like,
reincarnated lover is a great trope.
Yeah, like explaining,
it's
like because that's the thing. It's not like you're seeing the scene between the guy and the girl. Like, the guy comes in to tell the mother, "Hey, I want to marry your daughter," and she's like, funny thing about that, she's reincarnated." So it just immediately like sets up this very interesting situation that, like, almost like a soap opera in a way. Like, it has you engaged. You're like, okay, I wanna know how this shakes out. But unfortunately, you kind of get.
Yeah, I don't know how dating works in whatever this is, 1920s India.
I think when the story takes place must be contemporary to the time. So, or it must be like 1958. Like,
okay, so I mean, well, even I don't know how dating works in 1950s India, but I do like that this guy has probably been coming around for a while, but they waited to drop this bomb on him until now.
Right when he's ready to pop the question, he's worked himself up to this point. He's like, all right, I got all this money into getting the engagement ring. I'm fucking ready to go. I'm in a good place in my life. I'm ready to do this. And so he's like, the last thing I need to do, I just got to ask her mom if it's okay. And then he does that. And she's like,
funny story. It turns out she's already married, and we're leaving right now.
Bye. So yeah, wait a minute. Let me just come with you. Yeah, it would have been nice to see, because again, like, the whole thing with like her son and her husband, like, initially it almost seemed like a B story in a way, like the father running out of money and the son going to America. Like, honestly could have cared less if those storylines got resolved. I was, when you're introduced to something major the way that you were with this episode, you want to see it shake out. So it's a little disappointing to see it not shake out.
Yeah, and now she's got to go get a divorce. I mean,
well, who knows? Again, like, so it didn't. I guess ultimately the story did not resolve itself because the problem is she thinks she's a reincarnation, or she is a reincarnation of another person. But like, how can the woman that is in this body now live her own life and move away from this previous life that she's still attached to? How does she detach from that? I mean, that's obviously a more complicated story.
So how I think this will end up shaking out is it's not her first choice, but she does go back home and she marries this other guy, and they have a kid, and what do you know it, she dies tragically, unexpectedly. But fast forward 40 years, and wouldn't you know it, a strange young woman comes knocking on the door.
And wouldn't you know it, she knows everything about you. She's all the details.
Because she's a scam artist.
I mean, nowadays, with video technology and all that, easily you could scam your way. I mean, what is she's just another John Edward, right? She's like, she listened, in through doorways. She got little tidbits of information, and she figured out how to scam this person. And I did think
it's all just reading people.
But I did think about that.
If you pay enough attention, you can pick up on where people have their jewels hidden.
It's true. That's all you gotta do is pay enough attention. You just have that intuitive insight. You know. But no, I mean, I think that was kind of ridiculous about the whole thing, is that we just, we just to presume that she's gonna go on living life that way, or does she give this up? Does she like, all right, I'm gonna marry this guy, I'm gonna live my own individual life and not cling to this past life? But we'll
never know.
We'll never know. But I still liked this one just as much as, I mean, I don't even know what I would say the best episode of The Veil is that we've seen so far, and I wouldn't say that this is the best, but I mean, I certainly enjoyed this episode.
Yeah, we've been getting some good episodes of The Veil.
In the back half, they start to kind of hit a stride. And obviously, I mean, it would be remiss to, I mean, we're only an hour into this thing, and the actual episode is already over, but it'd be remiss to not touch on the fact that, obviously, in this day and age, or not in this day and age, I mean, you're very conscious about like your casting and who you're casting to play certain roles. Obviously, you could tell watching tonight's episode that these actors, most of them, probably are not Indian or of Indian descent or Indian heritage. Obviously, George Hamilton is not of Indian heritage, I don't think. But
we established he's French, so it's okay.
Right. Well, that's where I say, like, I'm not gonna go in. I don't want to like go in on them very like super hard, because it to an extent, like, that's, I think, how they're trying to bridge the gap a little bit. It's like, okay, like, he had an Indian mother and a French father, so we've got, obviously he's an American actor, but there's a little more leeway there. Versus, like, if they, if they didn't make those considerations for the character and decided that, all right, we are just gonna go really over the top with it. But obviously, George Hamilton, that was, I think that was a good call on him, because he's just known for being tan. He's not of any, it's what he's known for is he's very tan. I'm serious. Like there's some commercial. I don't know if you guys remember it, but there's like a Lay's chips commercial, and it's George Hamilton, and he's on like a lounge chair, and it was a commercial. I remember it. It's a commercial for Lay's baked potato chips, because the whole idea is of the baked, and in the commercial he's sitting out like tanning. He's got one of those sun things. Like one of
looking very, very tan, very orange.
Yeah, very
in this commercial.
Super orange, but it's for Lay's baked potato. Or did you look it up? Are you seeing this right now?
Yeah.
Yes. I don't know why I vividly remember that commercial, but like that's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know. I've always kept an eye on George Hamilton because, again, if you haven't seen Love at First Bite, go see Love at First Bite, because it's just a great Dracula parody, like, and it's late 70s. Like there's a whole disco number where Dracula does the disco, and it's a little cheesy, but it's
a little,
it's very cheesy, but it's fun. If you like disco, I like disco, it's fun. But George Hamilton is basically doing a Bela Lugosi impression for the movie, but he's still very tan for being an undead man, and his mole is still very prominent.
Vampires aren't usually known for being very tan.
No, not usually. And so he stands out.
Not getting a lot of time in the sun.
But Sylarn and I, like, that's a movie that we grew up watching like over and over and over again. So I just always kind of had, like, obviously he's not a classic horror actor, but I always kind of had him on my radar as like, oh, he played Dracula once. So like George Hamilton is, a guy. Like that was kind of like, especially as a kid, that's kind of how my mind worked. Oh, they played a monster. Oh, I remember that person. So like, then when he pops up in a Lay's chips commercial, I'm like, oh yeah, George Hamilton was in that Lay's baked potato chips commercial. Like,
so this commercial that I've got pulled up, it's actually for Ritz chips.
Ritz?
Does Ritz still make chips?
He might have done a bunch of different chips commercials, because now I'm thinking he did a Doritos commercial at some point. But yeah, I mean, he might have done a Ritz commercial I'm sure. Yeah, Ritz still makes chips. Ritz is still out there. You can go buy regular Ritz in the store for sure.
Ritz still in the chips game.
It's still in the
Toasted
they're still there.
Chips.
Yeah, and so obviously George Hamilton's like kind of a, I didn't remember that he was in this episode. It was a surprise to me, but and then
he also did a Wheat Thins commercial.
Yes, that's what I'm saying.
Anything toasted.
He's done a lot. Yes, it's the whole idea. That's what I'm saying. He's known for being tan, like the tan toasted. That's his thing. Like,
what a thing to make an image around.
Yeah, seriously. But that is what he's known for. He's always tan. He's always like, and he's
everybody knows me. I'm George Hamilton. I'm tan.
Well, and again, like, so like the Dracula thing he did, that was a parody of Dracula. He also did a Zorro parody called Zorro the Gay Blade, which I'll just leave your mind to it. Well, I think it may be a decent film. I haven't seen it, but I feel like I've read some stuff about it. I don't know if it's politically incorrect, but I think it's like Zorro and he has a twin brother who's gay. I don't know. Maybe it's not like super homophobic and intolerant. Who knows? Maybe it's somewhat progressive, but yeah, I mean, so George Hamilton was also kind of a parody guy for a little bit, like kind of in the way that we know Mel Brooks as a parody guy. George Hamilton was like, all right. He did Zorro, he did Dracula, he wanted to do a sequel to his Dracula parody after the Twilight stuff, and he wanted to make fun of the Twilight stuff, but it never materialized, unfortunately. That would have been something. That would have been fun.
He should do a sequel to his KFC commercial.
Oh my god, now you're just looking up. He's done a lot of commercials. He's obviously...
This is a commercial man.
Seasoned commercial actor. All 11 herbs and spices. Yeah, he's something. But no, we got totally off track because just the last thing that I wanted to say about tonight's episode is, with all the, I don't know if that first guy, if he was actually Indian. I don't think the women were actually Indian, but what I can tell you is that I know for a fact that one person in that cast tonight was of actual Indian heritage, Indian descent. Who was it? Boris Karloff. It was Boris Karloff. Yes, Boris Karloff.
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
I think on his mother's side. I don't think his mother was. I don't think his mother. I don't know. She might have been like completely native to India, but I think his father was British. Went back when they colonized India. They colonized India, right? Or they
did, yeah.
Yeah. So it was back during that time, and that was Karloff's. That was kind of if you go and look at pictures of him, you can tell that he actually has a darker skin tone. And like when you see later movies that Karloff did in color, you can see that he's got a darker skin tone. And
I was gonna say, it seems like it was a lot easier to whitewash these shows when they're just in black and white.
Definitely, without a doubt. Yeah, I mean, you don't have to go heavy on the makeup if you're not gonna see a color. But if you're gonna, if it's a color movie and you're like, the people would. I never saw the Short Circuit movies, but I know that Short Circuit 2 is full of, basically white actors being made up to look like they're, from India, and it's, obviously so I read an article with the main actor from that movie who. Was in a notable episode of Always Sunny in Philadelphia as well. And he's very regretful about that, but it was a big opportunity, so he took it at the time.
Wait, which one are you talking about?
So he plays the critic in the Always Sunny episode where they kidnap the he's
right.
The critic, yeah. He's in this movie Short Circuit 2. I think he was in the original Short Circuit. And and also Alexander Hamilton was known for his tan. Yes, that's right. Dish tinsel. Who could forget?
I love it when Alexander Hamilton did that Chips commercial.
Mm-hmm.
It's classic.
He shook his wig back, and then he pulled out a gun and he loaded it, and he said, before every duel, I can't help but fill my stomach with a bag of glazed potato chips. Something like that. I don't know. They probably have better writers than me just coming up with a commercial on the fly. But yeah, I'd like to see that. I need to see that commercial again. It'd be good. But yeah, so tonight's episode, Return to Madame Vernoy. Mixed bag, I think, at least from Evan's perspective. I mean, no, I don't know. I enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. So, I think there were definitely some solid points. Plenty of not solid points, but overall,
yeah, not as easy to make fun of as last week's episode.
Well, when you got a guy named Soupy, it's a little easy to, you can have fun with that. And that was, yes.
Definitely a highlight of the series.
Although, it shows us the kind of people we are, because last week's episode was all about murder. And, we're like, oh, that was the best episode to make fun of. And here I was like, an episode about reincarnation and like no murder or death. And we're like, ugh,
we're
boring.
We're dying here.
I need more murder and death. Well, I'm sure, next week's episode, well, I don't know. I don't even know what next week's episode is. Let's see. Next week's
I
episode.
do. I'm looking forward to next week's episode. From the title.
Next week's episode is called Destination Nightmare. Yeah, this one's pretty good. From what I don't remember too much of it, but it's kind of a wild one. So I think, well, good title. Definitely a good title. So I think we'll have fun with it. So you can catch us here next Wednesday at the same time at 9 p.m. Eastern for Destination Nightmare. Please join us this Friday as we finally get to Fog Island. I know it's, we were supposed to watch Fog Island last week. It is what it is. We're getting into it this Friday.
You know what they say, man makes plans, Ian laughs.
Isn't that what they always say? So what are you gonna do? We're very excited for that episode. It's gonna be a lot of fun. We talked about the drink last week, but I mean, should we go over it again, Evan?
Sure. Yeah.
I
I've all the ingredients are still in my fridge.
Good,
I haven't
good.
haven't tried this one yet, but I am excited.
Yes. As loyal viewers will know, every week Evan brings us a wonderful segment which we call
What were you drinking?
What were you drinking?
Well, this Friday we are drinking the Frog Island iced tea.
Frog Island.
Going to Frog Island.
Put that R in there.
Yeah. This is made with gin, some rum, vodka, blue curacao, pineapple juice, lemonade, and some Sprite, or your favorite lemon lime soda.
Whatever you prefer, honestly.
Yeah. So it should be pretty good. Should be pretty tropical.
I'm very excited. Yes, I mean we're traveling to the island, so it's good to might as well get a little tropical. But I'm very excited for this.
Get your coconut. Get your little umbrella.
Whatever.
Pour you up a nice Frog Island iced tea.
Please, it's going to be great. I'm very excited for this drink. We haven't had a tropical drink in a little bit, so it's going to be very good. You can go.
Well, now that we're getting into the summer months,
right? Yes, of course. Perfect time for a tropical drink. Certainly
it's
don't.
Perfect if you live in the southern hemisphere.
Right. We don't need anything with spices or anything related to fall. Keep the summer alive, right? No, we'll get there eventually. No, I'm very excited for this drink. It's going to be delicious. You can actually find that recipe on our Instagram page, which is at Screamstream Show. We post the movies that we're going to be watching every week, the drink, other, trivia, other fun little things. So you can check us out on Instagram at Screamstream Show. Also on Twitter, you can find fun facts about the movies, memes, also at Screamstream Show. We have a YouTube page. You can go look us up. We don't have a dedicated URL yet, but we're getting there. We are getting there soon enough. So you can go check out past episodes on our YouTube page, all that good stuff. Anything, Evan, before we sign off?
Believe me, Alexander Hamilton knows toasted.
Oh God, doesn't he? He does indeed. Well, on that note, thank you guys so much for joining us tonight. Please join us on Friday at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. Until then, sweet screams, everybody.
And to all, a good fright.
Oh no, I hit the wrong button.